Erik accidentally dropped a fork, which triggered his stepfather to respond with physical violence. His biological mother was aware but felt powerless and believed the punishment would enforce obedience. After each incident, Erik had to reconcile with the man who had just beaten him. Over time, the beatings became routine and his resentment steadily increased. Erik's suppressed anger escalated into physical aggression toward his classmates, leaving others too fearful to intervene. His involvement in repeated fights eventually led the principal to expel him after the final incident. Erik ignored the principal's warnings as he left. His mother sold some family artwork to fund his education and advised him to meet her friend Gunnar, a lawyer who gave Erik his card for future assistance. After Gunnar departed, his mother expressed disappointment over his expulsion and informed him that she had enrolled him in the all-boys Starberg boarding school, emphasizing that it was his final opportunity to correct his behavior. Erik resolved to improve and complete his studies without further expulsions. At his new school, he prepared his uniform and haircut, quickly forming a friendship with his roommate, Pierre, who was both intelligent and approachable. During dinner, Erik met Johan, who explained that the school's social hierarchy determined how students were treated. Johan noticed two students, Otto and Alan, summoning a classmate from an ordinary family. Sons of wealthy, noble families and members of the student council, they frequently bullied less privileged students with impunity, using their influence and authority to avoid consequences. The next morning at breakfast, Otto and Delay invited Erik to a traditional initiation ceremony for new students. Erik refused, and Johan faced the resulting consequences. Johan was struck by a car and hospitalized. Otto and Dylan then targeted Erik, ordering him to clean a pile of shoes, but he refused. Dylan sought Otto's guidance, and Otto instructed him to leave Erik alone temporarily. Erik later recounted the events to Pierre. Pierre warned Erik that defying Otto and Dylan could lead to severe punishment, but Erik, formerly a bully himself, refused to obey them. That night, he and Pierre considered nonviolent ways to resist the bullying, though most students preferred compliance to avoid physical harm. The next day, Dylan bumped into Erik and demanded an apology, which Erik refused. Dylan then challenged Erik to a fight that evening. Pierre and Johan accompanied Erik to the meeting, with Pierre warning that Otto and Dylan typically used their friends to gain an advantage. That night, Erik planned to face Dylan, but reconsidered, recalling his mother's advice to behave properly to graduate. Pierre helped him calm down, while Otto and Dylan waited for hours. When Erik did not appear, Otto declared him a coward, encouraged by his followers. The next day, Otto publicly singled out students who defied the student council, placing Erik at the top. In a mock trial, Otto sentenced him to a month of hard labor, requiring him to dig a 1-meter-deep trench around the school. Erik worked through the night but could not finish in time and ate dinner alone in the hallway, where Maria, a cafeteria worker, approached him, noting that he reminded her of her brother. Maria explained that her brother, like Erik, had a defiant attitude toward authority. After the meal, she returned, advised him to take care of his health, and then kissed and hugged him. Both understood that a romantic relationship between a student and staff was strictly prohibited, with severe consequences. Erik could be expelled, and Maria could be fired. That night, Erik and Maria disregarded the rules. During Christmas break, Erik returned home to a warm welcome from his mother, but a cold reception from his stepfather. His stepfather questioned him about his school punishments, including his suspension. Erik explained that he had refused to obey a student from a powerful aristocratic family, but his stepfather dismissed the explanation, criticizing his grades and the consequences he had faced. Erik's stepfather beat him again, while his mother did not intervene. After Christmas break, Erik returned to school and immediately reunited with Maria. When Otto and Dylan attempted to pour dirty water on him during sleep, their plan failed, as Erik and Pierre quickly woke and cleaned up the mess. Erik decided to take action against Otto. He snuck into Otto's room at night and poured dirty water on him while he slept. The next morning, Erik publicly humiliated Otto in the dining hall, provoking a furious reaction. Otto punched Erik in the face, but Erik did not retaliate, honoring his promise to his mother. The principal and teachers ignored the incident. Maria intervened briefly, but Otto and Dylan shifted their focus to Pierre, who refused to comply when summoned during lunch. Otto persisted in targeting Pierre, hoping to provoke Erik into intervening. That evening, Pierre accepted the challenge and went to the battleground where Otto, Dylan, and their group awaited, aware he would need to resist their pressure and intimidation. Pierre was quickly overpowered by Otto and collapsed. When Erik arrived, he could only carry Pierre back to their room and tend to his injuries. That night, Erik met Maria, but by morning, threats resumed, prompting him to stay close to Pierre to monitor his condition. When Erik returned, his room was empty. Pierre had left, taking all his belongings. Only a letter remained, in which Pierre acknowledged their friendship and urged Erik to continue resisting Otto and his followers. Reading it, Erik resolved to fight back and seek justice for Pierre and the other students. Erik entered the dining hall and challenged Dylan, announcing he would fight Otto in the arena. He quickly defeated Elaine and von Schienen, who relied on their parents' influence rather than skill, surprising Otto with his strength. Before facing Otto, Erik went to the kitchen, only to learn that Maria had been fired and had already left the school. A staff member gave Erik a letter from Maria. One of Otto's henchmen saw it and reported to Otto, who then led his gang to search Erik's room. They found the letter revealing Erik's secret relationship with Maria, giving Otto grounds to accuse and expel him. Otto presented the evidence to the principal, who summoned Erik and expelled him for misconduct involving Maria. Erik accepted the decision but asked for the return of Maria's letter, which the principal refused, locking it away. With nothing left to lose, Erik resolved to seek revenge for the injustices he endured at Starburg. Erik tracked Otto into the woods, confronting him with a stick and demanding submission. Otto, panicked, knelt and offered a $10,000 bribe, which Erik refused. Despite Otto's desperate pleas, Erik spared him, refusing to mirror the cruelty Otto had shown others. After leaving Otto, Erik returned to school to pack his belongings and called Gunnar, the lawyer who had offered help before. When Gunnar arrived, Erik confronted the principal, requesting that he not be expelled and that Maria's letter be returned. Initially refusing, the principal changed his stance when Gunnar threatened to expose the school's culture of class discrimination and tolerated bullying. The principal ultimately agreed to Erik's demands, disbanding Otto's student council. With Gunnar's help, Erik remained at the school, ending Otto's control and enjoying a peaceful school life until graduation. His mother was proud of his achievements, while his stepfather continued to criticize him. When his stepfather attempted to strike him again, Erik resisted and expelled him from the house, ending the cycle of violence. Later, Erik reunited with his friend, who was set to continue studies in Geneva, and they promised to meet again in the future.